All right, guys, I have a question for both of you. This is not Corona related. It's not CrossFit related.
Well, then I don't want to participate.
No,
Yep.
I think it's an interesting question. I get down these rabbit holes. I find one thing and I really dive deep into it. So last Thursday, a new documentary on the Beastie Boys came out.
Oh, that looks
What's
good.
it called?
I think it's just called the Beastie Boys documentary. It's on Apple TV, which I think I have a free membership from some, like, if depending on who your phone carrier is, whatever. But I would definitely go find it if you're listening. What's your opinions on the Beastie Boys?
One of the great, kind of like what, at least in my opinion, kind of like we talked about Jordan last week. Which, if you haven't watched the third episode of The Last Dance, you should.
And the fourth.
And the fourth, yeah.
Yeah.
The fourth one's out.
They do
They
two a
came
week.
back to back. They do 2 a week.
Oh, I didn't see that one pop up. I would watch it. I think they were kind of a cult. They were in that kind of culture shift where like rap kind of hit the like realist. Like I think they're fucking awesome. They're great. Like how talk about rap without talking about Beastie Boys?
I agree with that. What about you, Todd?
Well, I think you can talk about rap without Beastie Boys, but I think they're super creative to bridge the gap between like the punk and rap and hip hop thing, and to be a group of white kids coming and doing it. It's pretty interesting just to see what they did and to hear stories of like their first tour, like touring with Madonna, and the things that they did, and having Rick Rubin part of the team and all that kind of stuff is. They definitely changed the game, and they're definitely pretty impressive. It's like I'm a big fan of rap music, and I like some of their stuff. I don't love all of their stuff, but I can't like them as artists is pretty impressive, and I respect their music and I enjoy listening to it, even though they're probably not my favorite. But what they did, I think, just for the culture was pretty impressive too.
Did you watch the documentary, Todd?
I haven't seen it yet, but I would.
I always think about like, there's certain songs that are iconic, and if you think about just like songs that come on and everybody recognizes that song, like doesn't matter what basically generation, but like Brass Monkey's one of those songs where that comes on, like everybody knows that song. It's like Journey, when that comes on, everybody knows that song.
I'm at the karaoke bar and I grab the mic.
That's right, dude.
Every
comes on.
35-year-old woman is singing "Don't Stop Believing."
That was 10 years ago when they were 35. Now I have 45-year-olds.
But I think you're both nailing it. Like, they probably have 10 to 20 songs that I think are really good, and the rest all sound very similar. But it was more, to me, what was impressive about it is like, as an adult now, I think when I was young and your favorite musicians or even athletes, you think they're older, and then you realize these guys are 19.
They were like, yeah,
You
early
know,
20s. Yep.
But everybody's like your parents' age when you're a kid. And then you realize, wow, these guys changed something at 19. And, in the 80s, when they were developing, and the times were just so different too. Like, I don't know that 3 white kids in Brooklyn can do what the Beastie Boys did now, like they did in the 80s, because a lot of it was impacted by the fact that they're able to go to clubs at 17 or 18. Like, they're not scared. They're not being, there's not curfews put out there. There's not, all of these things that we know now. It was just a different world.
They could probably go outside.
They could definitely go outside.
Yeah, they could go to a club because clubs were open back then.
Yeah.
Any of those kids that do it nowadays are able to do it because the door that they open for them. So
yeah,
they're
definitely trailblazers.
I mean, one of the things that they say in the documentary, and I've done some like YouTubing and whatnot, it's like they were finding stuff out in a time before Google and before YouTube. Like, they were saying, like, Adam Yauch created that loop for Rhyming and Stealing, which was the Led Zeppelin drum beat. And it's like, there's no library where you're like, how do you do this? Like, people just figured things out back then.
Yeah, just tried and experimented and just were crazy creative, right?
I feel like the 3 of us can be the Beastie Boys. Like, we have the look, the white boy look. What's your last?
You definitely do now with the short hair and no beard. Yeah.
Favorite, if you had to pick one though, name one Beastie Boy song that you really like.
Brass Monkey.
That's a classic.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd probably
Although,
go with
what
that.
was man, there's one from their final album that's escaping me. Fuck.
You Google that. I'm gonna tell you
Yeah.
one that I got to like since watching that documentary. It's called Sure Shot. Like it's pretty popular of theirs, but when you listen to the lyrics, like Adam Yauch writes this lyric about the disrespect of women, and it was like, I think what's often overlooked about the Beastie Boys is how they evolved and how their lyrics were actually, some of them are really good. Like some are stupid, like, tilt your head back, let's finish the cup. That's not profound, but some of them are like really profound for, again, 3 20-year-olds writing, raps.
Oh, that's what it
Todd,
is. Nonstop Disco Power Pack. It's off of Hot Sauce Committee Part 2. Yeah, that's what it was.
I'll check that out. All right. So, we were talking a lot beforehand, and we're not going to let Fern dive into coronavirus yet again, Todd. But
I,
it
I've
is
I've been doing that all day, so I'm good.
it's looking like the reopening is happening soon. We talked a little bit about that on last week's episode, but now let's dive specifically into the topic because we've been asked this enough times. How do we ease our members back into constantly varied functional movements at high intensity?
I think everybody should do. I think you should take a real fine tooth comb and run through your programming, and I think you should look at. Let's go with like the low hanging fruit. I think you should look at duration of workouts, whether it's time or task priority, but how long is this going to take, and everything should be on the shorter end. And I think look at total volume, like how many reps in these two workouts, and if it goes past 15 minutes or like goes into the hundreds, I think it should be adjusted.
I can tell by Todd's look already.
Well, I disagree to some degree because based on a lot of the at-home workouts that I've seen, people are doing hundreds of reps of air squats and push-ups and lunges and sit-ups and all the rest of that stuff. So I'm less concerned with any of that. I think about when my members come back, what are they looking for? What's going to be available for them? And what is it that they've missed probably the most? And number one, I think we talked about this previously, is like, I don't think our classes are going to look the same as they did before we closed the doors, right? There's going to be probably shorter time duration based on the number of people that can actually come to a class. So I'm going to try to have more classes during the day. But most of our members have just been yearning for a barbell. So I think getting a barbell back in people's hands, but then, taking the same approach that we preach at the level 1 of mechanics, consistency, and intensity. It's like people probably know how to move, they know how to lift. But if they haven't touched a barbell in 2-3 months, we're going to have to ease them into that kind of stuff. So it's just going to be, finding movements and things that they can do and that they want to do. I'm going to try to include a lot of barbell coming back into this thing, but look at the loading that they're going to do and then the volume of reps according to that specific movement, not total reps of the workout or any of that. If it's like gymnastic type movement that they've potentially been doing on their own, but slowly building them back up of moving the barbell and having heavy days and that kind of stuff.
So if you had to take a guess, both of you, I mean, I know Fern has basically been open this whole time, but just kidding. But let's assume, you have 100 members, whatever you have. What percentage do you think has actually been exercising regularly, any form of exercise?
I think it's lower than most of us assume.
I agree with that. That's why I'm asking.
I do think that and I agree with Todd, there are some people that are doing some high volume, and I would say that that's in the less than 10%. So I think for those folks, I would have some accessory work dialed up or some extra stuff that they can get into. But I'm thinking about all the people who are not doing that, which is probably the majority. And I would rather play it a little bit safer for them and then go with the option of dialing it up for those people who need it. And again, like, you should practice all the stuff that Todd was talking about, which is like, execute scaling. But I'm thinking of this entire scenario kind of like all three of us have been there, right? Like, you take 2 weeks off and then you come back and hit a workout and then you can't straighten your arms for 2 weeks. And it's not that you can't do that. It's that you probably just shouldn't, right? Like, I shouldn't go hit 75 pull-ups, having not done a workout with pull-ups in 2.5 weeks. Like, that's just a bad idea. So that's kind of the stuff that I'm thinking about, is like, most people are doing body weight stuff, but I'm thinking about like very few of them have a pull-up bar that they have access to. So that's something that I'm worried about, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So ease in the number of pull-ups, ease in the barbell stuff. It's not like our first heavy day is going to be a 5x5 of back squats, because that's debilitating when I've been training consistently and regularly anyways. So it's probably going to be, 3x3 where we're just going moderate as far as the loading goes, and just get some exposure back to this kind of stuff. But I'm with you. We definitely have to be aware. It's not going to be like full bore, cut them loose with regular programming again and let them do any of the movements that they've not been doing for the last few months at a full clip. It's like ease them back in.
Would you, and this is Todd, this is kind of more for you. I know Jay, you're not going to be in the affiliate, but would you be programming more heavy days, but not necessarily like heavy? So thinking like, just to keep the intensity relatively low to get everybody back into this. Like typically we will at Rife, we would do like one heavy day a week.
Yep.
But I'm strongly considering maybe doing 2. And when I say heavy, again, heavy is relative. It's not like we're going 1 rep max,
Right.
But can I do something like that? Or maybe, and again, this is going to sound nuts, but like maybe do a little bit of pairing like a strength plus Metcon just to get people to dial it back. As long as the Metcon isn't, and I don't mean like barbell Metcon. I mean like throwing in a quick little 5-minute burpees at the end or something like that.
Yeah, I'm same boat where it's like, just based on the feedback I've gotten from the members that I'm keeping in touch with, and which is most of them, it's like they want to be back with a group of people working out again, and they want the barbell in their hands. So, 4 out of 5 days to begin with for the first probably month or 2 months is probably going to include a barbell, and whether that's a true heavy day, or it's just like, a heavy barbell in addition to some running or whatever else it is that they're going to do. There's definitely going to be a lot more exposure than a typical week of programming would if we had just been continuing to keep the doors open. A lot more exposure to the barbell and lifting. Yep.
So I guess another way to approach this would be, what do you think some mistakes would be, rather than just like, hey, here's what we would do? Like sometimes I think it's better to talk about like, this is what you shouldn't do.
Yeah. I mean, I think the mistake would be like, just to open the doors and cut people loose with programming as if they like picking up where you left off. Like I know that we had, weeks of programming already scheduled. We had particular workouts that are our benchmarks that we're trying to, test multiple times throughout the year. But I think it'd be foolish to open the doors and then to be cutting people loose on these benchmark workouts or any of the programming, like picking up where we left off before. So it's, people can get plenty fit just by going hard and doing really anything, right? So it doesn't have to be a ton of lifting. You don't have to make up for the time lost by trying to get all your pull-ups, all your muscle-ups, all your snatch, and all your barbell stuff in each day or each week. It's like slowly but surely just start ramping up the intensity and the volume of things and start to include the things that people hadn't had the exposure to. So I would say what not to do is just to cut it loose like people are picking up where they left off. I also would be a little bit weary of that additional accessory work, just because that's going to add a lot more potential volume to people too, depending on what that accessory work is.
So do you think you're going to change your programming period, or will this just be a re-entry type of thing? I mean, and I agree with you. I mean, you have to look, for box owners listening, you have to look at the primary causes of rhabdo, eccentric movement patterns, and especially ones like you're both saying that haven't been done. Pull-ups are going to be a big one. I mean, regardless of people that have equipment at home, a lot of people don't have pull-up bars if they're training in their extra bedroom like I am. Box jumps, kettlebell swings, and then
Double
obviously
unders.
just encouraging people, hey, be smart after class, maybe ease yourself back into it. So obviously you're in charge of the programming, but is this going to be for an extended period of time? Have have you thought about it? Like, hey, this pandemic has caused me to rethink the way I'm going to program.
Well, I mean, we've always kind of, I mean, currently we follow CrossFit.com anyways, so it's going to be a similar approach to that. And I also think the reality is going to be that I'm going to have a good portion of my members that still want to train from home and aren't going to feel comfortable coming back to the gym. So we're going to try to have options that, yes, people can come in and do it here, but they can also do it at home. And I don't like having completely different workouts for the different people that are, members at the gym. I want to try to keep as much consistency as possible. Like I said, there's probably a shorter time duration as far as classes go. So a lot of it is going to be dependent on what the reopening of things look like, how fast we're able to get back to having a big number of people in the gym, how fast people feel comfortable coming back to the gym and that kind of stuff. But like I said, people can get plenty fit by taking their time, working on mechanics, working on consistency, and just going hard at whatever it is you do. It doesn't have to be the most advanced programming in the world. And I think people will just be thankful to be back in here, moving with other people, touching a barbell, and just getting back close to what life was like before, to where they're going to be less concerned on what the programming truly looks like.
Do you think the companies out there, the bigger companies, the CompTrains, the Invictus, do you think they are being impacted by this? Do you think people, A, are not able to hit that programming right now, or B, are thinking to themselves, I don't need to train like this anymore?
I mean, realistically, I think it's probably more likely they've seen an uptick because people are stuck at home. I mean, I don't know that. That's a shot in the dark, right? But I mean, it makes sense.
I'd be curious, right? Because they are a platform that's been providing this online group training for a significant amount of time. So I don't know if it's like people have more time and all they want to do is train, and so they're doing a lot more of that, or if this is giving people the realization that, like, I can get plenty fit doing something quick in my house. I don't need, to spend 3 hours doing this. So I don't know. I'd be curious.
I've had numerous members essentially tell me what I've been telling them for 10 years, which is you can do less of these things and do stuff like going for a 30 to 40 minute run once a week and you will get fitter. Like, you don't need to touch a barbell 5 times a week. Like, you can get fit by doing a 10-mile run one day. And I've had people that were like, yeah, I've been running more and I feel good. But they were previously avoiding running because they just wanted to come in and sling a barbell. So I think for a lot of people, it's opening up their eyes, like what you said, which is like, there is more to what fitness entails other than just, Metcons with a heavy barbell or doing snatch and clean and jerk. And there's a lot of value to be had, which we all know. I mean, that's what we preach at the level ones, is like, there's tremendous value in doing some of those things that are not as sexy, right? Not as Instagram worthy, but still have a significant impact on your fitness. And I think some people are starting to find that out, that they're not going to have this dramatic fall off of their fitness if they are basically just continue to move in whatever capacity you have the ability to do so during this time frame. Even if it's less frequency and lower intensity. I mean, we all know how quick it is to regain essentially like aerobic capacity versus strength. Like, it's pretty quick. So.
And I think one of the cool things, being fortunate where I'm at in Florida, is like the weather's nice, and I have seen way more people outside taking advantage of being outside, going for walks, going for runs, riding their bike, going to the beach, surfing, that kind of stuff. To where I think that people are seeing that there's a lot more to fitness than what's inside the walls of the gym. There's a lot more outside of it. I mean, we've done virtual 5Ks as a gym. We've done virtual rucks. We've done all kinds of stuff. And I think people are enjoying being outside and taking advantage of that kind of stuff too. So I think there'll be a little bit of a shift mentally on what fitness is and what it truly is used for and needed for.
I think that's probably the biggest eye opener for me for my entire life. It's been like, the fitness happens in the gym. Right.
That's amazing, because you are so bad in the gym. Like, I'm just so surprised that that's what you think of.
I will smash you on the Peloton.
Shit. You realize I ride my bike to the gym like 3 or 4 days a week.
Funny.
I'm on the bike way more than you.
quick,
Short little legs.
quick Peloton tangent. Our mutual friend, you guys know him, MDV,
Yeah.
right? Former seminar staff member. Jason Kalipa is kind of right-hand man in NorCal now. He and I have been talking. He got a Peloton bike. So the measurement they use is kJs, which is like wattage. Like that's what your
Kilojoules?
kilojoules. That's what your
Yeah.
that's what your score is at the end. So for me, my goal is to be able to get 10 a minute. Never happened yet. Hasn't happened yet. My best score in a 30-minute class is like 280. My best score in a 45-minute class is 400. And that 400, it hurt for the rest of the day. Like I was exhausted. Like I thought I had mono. Like I was wiped out. MDV gets his bike. In the 30-minute class, he got 415. So he got more than I could get in a 45-minute class in 30 minutes and was probably fine. So the point is I'm
That's
not very good
because
at
you're
Peloton.
not fit.
Yeah, you're not telling us anything
I
that
don't what
we
okay.
didn't know already. That's not
This is-
surprising, Jay.
This is like when like after you break up with somebody, Jay, and you're just like, man, she really sucked, and everybody's like, yes, we've been telling you that for a long time, and like you're just coming to the realization that you're not fit, yet we've all known for a really long time.
Have you guys had the desire to reach out to any of your exes during this pandemic?
No,
For
why
what
would I make
reason?
my life more painful?
I don't know.
I don't.
No, let's dig in here, Jay. Tell us why you want to do that.
We know a handful of your exes. I would love to hear about these ones. I hope there's some of them that I know.
I'll reach out to the one I brought to that hotel, Todd.
Yeah, I mean, you'd known her for 3 days, and for
She was
sure
the
you were
one.
gonna marry her.
She was the
Yeah.
one.
All right,
What do you think
let's not
about
dive-
Susie? What do you mean? Who's Susie? I think she's the one.
She's my
How
wife.
long have you known her? 2 days. She's not the one, Jay.
Just have a feeling.
anyway,
Just have a feeling.
Anyway,
I don't know.
right.
Just throughout this pandemic, there's just been a lot of downtime and quiet. And unlike both of you, I'm trying to read and educate myself and study things. And you just think about things and reading a lot and thinking about your past. And it's not been in a way that I care. Like
because
more
you're
so just-
Gone Girl, so you're thinking about the girls that are gone.
I told you I read that book. Did I tell you I read that?
No, I could see you're wearing a shirt that says Gone Girl on it.
I read Gone Girl, and then literally this morning I finished that woman's first book called Sharp Objects. I think it's also like a TV show. It's fucked up. It's like it's good. It's like energy, and I've her third one now also. I'm like the point is I'm reading. You guys are not.
Is the book Gone Girl? Is that what the movie's predicated on?
Yeah,
I think
it's
so.
Okay.
based
all right.
on. But like anything, the book is always just so much better. But her first book, her name's Gillian Flynn, the author, was even more messed up than Gone Girl. And I'm
Saying a lot.
I'm about to dive into the third one now. I think.
Wait,
it's
so
called
why did this make you think
Dark
about your
Places.
exes?
That's not what made me think about my exes. Todd said that. No, here's what truly made me think about my exes.
Have you murdered people, Jay?
I'm feeling bad about it. No. So here's what truly made me think about my exes. And luckily my wife doesn't listen to this podcast. But I was doing lots of yoga during this, and a handful of my exes were during a period of time where I did a lot of yoga. So some of the songs were reminding me. And again, I've not acted on any of these things, but it was more so just to be like, hey, look, we dated. It clearly didn't work out. I hope you're okay. It wasn't like, let's get together. I want to see you. I want to, or anything, dumb. It was just more like, hey, we're all going through this pandemic. It was a fleeting moment of compassion and empathy, which you guys have never clearly experienced.
Or weakness? I don't know. We'll figure out which one that was.
So
But
you're making it sound like you've reached out to him then.
No, I never did.
Yeah, I don't know. The way he made that sound was like he was talking about the
yeah.
DM he sent.
Yeah.
No. I promise
Hey.
you, I haven't.
I miss you. I mean, I hope you're well. Yeah.
I mean, I have a handful of exes that I still very much, I wouldn't say very much, but like we'll shoot a message every so often. But then I have like probably 5 or 6 that, since the day we broke up, we've not spoken. So
Yeah, I mean, everybody has those. I think.
yeah, I mean, just
depends
more
on
like,
what circles you both still.
it was just more and we were never in the same circle. It was more just like, hey, hope you're doing okay. Apologize, like, sorry. But here's actually what it came down
Wait,
to.
wait.
Where are
What
we
are
at?
you
We need to-
apologizing for?
No, I'm not
For him
apologizing
being
for anything.
himself.
Yeah.
Calling
sorry.
a kid an asshole.
I'm sorry I broke up with you. Sorry I broke up with you.
Todd knows too much about my exes. Yeah. Todd was, for like the last 5 years when I lived in Florida, Todd has seen and heard of all the exes. But no, here's what it became. I was like, and again, this is me studying and learning about myself, very foreign to you guys.
Besides Gone Girl, what have you studied and learned? That's what I'm curious about, because you're making it sound like you're really getting deep, and all you're doing is reading like Tom Clancy novels or something like
No,
that.
I don't like Tom. I did watch The Hunt for Red October, and I didn't like it. No, a lot of stoicism stuff.
You don't think Sean Connery makes a good Russian?
I had never. Roz and I had never seen it. We're going through movies trying to find one, and I was like, this wasn't great. But anyway, stoicism, the Daily Stoic, and I'm journaling on it. I have the journal as well, so I journal, but just that type of stuff. But anyway, point was, going back to stoicism, I didn't want me reaching out to them to be about me, and I felt like that's what it was. Oh,
Good call.
Now you guys don't have anything to goof
Good call,
on.
because it was about you.
Yeah, because it was about you. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
enlightened. I'm enlightened, and you guys aren't. That's what it comes down to.
You're light. I
Speaking of
don't know if you're enlightened, but
exactly at that time, Fern's light went out. See?
yeah.
You put other people's lights out to make yours burn brighter, Jay.
Remember, I don't know if you remember that moment, Todd. We were at the CrossFit Games, and you made fun of me, and I said something like, "You're making fun of me to make you feel better," and you were like, "That was good, Jay." Remember that moment?
Maybe that one time
Yeah.
I've given you credit.
Exactly. So anyway,
All
let's
right.
get back on
we've-
topic.
We've wasted enough time here. Valuable
Mostly
time for our
because-
listeners.
Roz just walked back into the apartment.
Yeah, don't talk about your
pull-ups.
girlfriends anymore. Yeah.
So
So no
other
pull-ups.
no pull-ups.
Sorry.
And we spoke about this on the past one, but what do you think? Do you think the members want that? Do you think the members want to go like gung-ho right back at it? Or do you think they're smart enough to be like, okay, guys, I've been chill. I need to ease back into this myself.
Well, I think even so, I think they're gung-ho, but like even if they were chill, we all know what happens when you put people in a group, right? Like all of a sudden you start competing and you're just like so fired up to be there that you, in a lot of instances, like unknowingly make a bad decision, so that's where I think the coaches, like there's two scenarios there where I have to dial something up that won't allow that, but let's just say I'm not going to do that. Then you really have to be very aware of what's happening in the classes. These people that can normally get through something and you see them struggling, like you should probably make a change immediately. Just be like, hey, let's just get out of here. Like, so that we can train tomorrow. And, Sean Pastuch brought this up. Like that was his big beef with this is people are then going to come back and we're going to see increased injuries, not because CrossFit's dangerous, but because people have gone from doing nothing, a lot of them, to trying to go back and jump into this full bore. And we know how that happens. And we know what happens when you do that. Like, it's not good.
And I think that's really where the whiteboard brief is going to be huge, right? Hey, be honest with yourself. For the last 6 weeks, did you, get high and watch The Office a la Jason Ackerman? Or were you, training every day in your extra bedroom or garage and train accordingly? Like now is our time to be smart, make some changes, train smarter, not harder, and make sure that we, stay healthy. The last thing you want to do is come back in, destroy yourself, and be out another week.
Would you consider doing things like not for time, like specifically making a workout like that? Be like, hey, listen, guys, you're just going to get through it, and here's the allotted time.
I think the first week, that's not a bad idea. I mean, you've talked about it on a, no RX week. It wouldn't be a bad idea to eat. I would have to find that balance. I'll let Todd answer this, but you don't want to piss off the members either, right? And they might be like, dude, I've been locked up. Like, I want to get at it. So, and once you start that clock, we all know everybody's looking at it.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on it kind of goes back. We've talked about this in, previous episodes, but it's the culture that you've created. Like, if you've created enough trust with your athletes. Number one, they're going to buy into and believe whatever you're providing for them is the right thing, and they're going to listen to you there. And then number two, like you mentioned the whiteboard brief when talking about the workout. Well, it's not up to my athletes to decide what their scaling option is based on my whiteboard brief. It's my job as the coach to watch them go through the warm up, to check in with them, you know, before class or during class, to be like, hey, what have you done? I haven't seen your name on our leaderboard on our virtual workouts. Have you been there? And when they say I haven't been doing anything, cool, we're going to cut this in half today. It's like, it's my job as a coach and my other coaches' jobs to scale each of our athletes independently, not leave it up to them to decide. And so whether it's for time or not for time, well, if I've scaled them appropriately, it's not going to matter in my opinion. And number two is like, when I'm going through that process, if I'm ever unsure whether my scaling is appropriate or not, I always try to err on the side of it being too easy. I would love somebody to finish the class and be like, man, you know what? You made me do, sets of 6 on the pull-up. I think I could have done 8. Sweet. Next week when we're doing pull-ups, we'll let you do 8. No big deal. I can always give you more tomorrow, as opposed to have to take something away that I gave you too much of. So I think
Go ahead.
You've done a good job of building that goodwill and trust with your clients. I think they're going to trust you, and they're going to understand that you've got their best intentions at heart. And they're also, I think people are going to be less eager to cut loose and just more eager to be here and be a part of it. I don't think really can give a shit about exactly how it goes down or what their scores are. I think they've realized that that's less relevant than we made it beforehand. So now it's, hey, let's get in here. Let's move a little bit. Let's have fun being with other people. And we'll work our way back up to where we
think
were
you're going to
before.
have way more leeway with regard to the programming than you normally would. Like if the programming's like not super sexy and intimidating, because people are just going to be so damn happy to be there that you should just take advantage of that. I'm thinking about myself. Like I'm in the gym every day. We're in here like doing calls with clients, shooting video, just doing admin work and stuff like that. I think I've done pull-ups once in the past month. So, and truth be told, like pull-ups are kind of my jam, but if I was to get into a workout that had 50 pull-ups in it, like I'm going to pay for that for about a week.
Which band did you use during that workout?
The purple.
pull-ups?
Yeah, that's the one that you have and have been using since day one. Yeah.
Super thick one.
Yeah.
All right, last question. We can wrap it up. You have members in your gym. You open back up. 2 members. Let me ask Todd first because I know Fern's answer.
Do
2
you?
members. Yeah, I know what you're going to do. I know what you're going to say.
You might be
2
wrong.
members finish up the workout. High five. How do you react?
It's all going to depend on what the stipulations are coming into this thing. And at the end of the day is like, people walking in here are going to have the awareness and they're going to know what's going on. I mean, if 2 people high five each other, and that obviously indicates that they are both making an effort to make that thing happen, not a big deal. If somebody goes up and jokingly tries to hug people because he doesn't think it's a big deal where everybody else thinks it's a big deal, well, then that's an issue and we're going to have to address that. The guy that comes in that thinks he's funny by coughing on everybody and everything, that's not funny, that guy's an asshole. We're going to address that and get him out of here. But if 2 people decide to give each other a high five, who cares? Like, we're going to have protocols in place to wipe everything down and clean everything up. And I'm not concerned with that.
I know Fern's answer is basically the same. So we can skip over that one.
It's not.
It's not the same?
No.
There
will be no high fives.
Never.
All good
It's
games.
not fun.
All good games. All good games because it's not transmitted from hand to butt. So it's all good games.
There's no anal trans. But I mean, obviously, I don't think either of you are encouraging high fives. It was more like, I agree with Todd. Like 2 people take it amongst like consensual sex. You guys want to go do that? Cool. But you can't just go having sex with strangers that don't want to. Same thing with high five.
I'm also not never gonna give a high five. Like if somebody wants to give me a high five, like they're gonna get a high five. Like
so
I've had to shake hands with other people.
On the day you reopen, if someone wants to high five you, you're gonna do it.
I'm not gonna pull my hand back. I'll probably give them a high five and then go wash my hands. Like it's weird, right? It's just like, hey, listen, or just throw your elbow out there. But the reality, the likelihood of me getting it, since I probably already had it in January, is pretty low. So I'll
This
risk
is it's like
for
I
so
agree.
matter of fact.
I think
I'm
Salty.
good. I'm fine. I can never get it again. I've already had it twice. Let's open the gym. I'm gonna be fine. We're straight.
I've had it too, Fern. I hear you.
So,
It's
so in
like-
that case, if I went to give you a high five, what would you do? I mean, I already know what you would do, but what would you do?
No,
Would
that's
you would just
interesting.
turn? You would just turn your back as I whiffed into the air if I were a high five.
It depends who the person is.
You would
It
have to
depends
get down on
when
like your
this
knees to
is.
give him a high five. You'd have to
It
jump
would
pretty high.
it would be a low five like I do with my 1-year-old.
It
It's-
depends
you know,
on if you
it-
had any boxes left in your gym so he could climb up on it and give you a high five.
I agree. Like, eventually we'll be high fiving again. I've been waiting for the day we can all just fist bump anyway. I don't like shaking hands. I don't like high fiving. I've worked with Todd every time the seminar ends and we shake 50 hands. We kind of like your hands like just sitting out there. You don't want to touch anything until you go and wash it. It's going to just be more of that. If anything, what this has told me is, hey, I've been pretty healthy with minimal cleanliness. I can be really healthy if I wash my hands every so often. And that's all I'm going to start doing.
Maybe the deodorant that you're saving by not putting it in your armpits, you can just wipe it on your hands.
Yeah, put it on your
You're all
hand. Yeah. There'll be a protective layer there that you can then just.
You're all set.
But
Yeah,
I mean,
I will.
it's
That
going to
brings
be
up a good.
strange.
I do think I'm curious to see what changes culturally around like are like handshakes no longer a thing. Like what changes?
Nothing.
That'll be
It'll
interesting.
people will be freaked out a couple months, and then in 18 months, everybody will be like, "Remember that time when we shut down the world? That was dumb."
I'm going.
Yeah, but
I will
I
not
agree.
shake hands ever again. I'm being serious. Like, I don't think there's going to become a time where.
Well, you're a hypochondriac, so
No, it's not. I mean, I've shaken.
who
hands
doesn't
my
use
whole,
deodorant? It's kind of an oxymoron, but
I've shaken hands my entire life. I just think we've learned, hey, this is an easy way to transmit anything. I don't particularly. It's like doing something you don't like that has high risk. Like, what's the point? I'll fist bump you, and I think that's going to become the norm. I really do.
what? So that's better? Fist bump?
It is better than shaking hands. Yes.
Based on what?
Well, just simple fact that when you shake hands, when you shake hands,
Yeah.
The up down when you're upside down, you give them the shake like this.
Yeah.
no,
You rub.
your palm
I
of
do
your hand
this.
is what you touch your face with, and that's where they're showing how things spread.
Yeah, I know where the
Don't
palm of
touch
my
your
hand
face.
is. What I'm saying is that if it touches your hand, some other part of your body is going to touch that part of your hand, and then it's like it's unavoidable. It's unavoidable.
It is unavoidable, but it's like anything else. You can mitigate the risk. So you work a seminar. Let's wrap this up. But next time you guys work a seminar, let's hope it's in May. You're gonna shake 50 participants' hands like you used to, Todd?
Dude, you remember how often I wash my hands at those things? I wash my hands every 2 seconds. Like
Right.
I can shake 50 people's hand, walk to the bathroom, and wash my hands just like I did before.
Yeah, and Fern's using hand sanitizer, but all right. Well, when you get COVID-19 for the second time, Fern, don't be coming to give me a high five.
Like I said, good game. I'll give you the good
Good-
game, and then just
good
keep your hands
game,
off your
guys.
butt. Yep.
I
You
think
know?
we should try to get the good game to take over. Just walking up, good game. It's the way to go. All right. Well, hopefully we've helped prevent some cases of rhabdo. If that's all we've done, that's great. I'm gonna go. Gonna message some ex-flames and get about my day.
And apologize. You can apologize to them.
Yeah, they would all be. I would be apologizing to all of them. That's a dick.
Yeah.
But anyway, good chat. I'll let you guys get about your day. Thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for listening to Best Hour of Their Day. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First of all, it's free. How cool is that? There's a creation tool that allows you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer, so it becomes super simple. Some of these episodes with Fern or Todd or myself chatting with one another, we've done right within the app itself. Anchor will make it easy to distribute your podcast to all platforms, Spotify, Apple, and many more. And you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make an awesome podcast.
in one place. All you have to do is download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today.
Come on, who doesn't have Spotify at this point? And if you were unaware, Spotify now is offering podcasts. That's right, on Spotify, you can listen to all your favorite artists, but also podcasts in one place for free. Spotify has a huge catalog of podcasts on every topic, including the one you're listening to right now, Best Hour of Their Day. On Spotify, you can follow your favorite podcasts so you never miss an episode. Premium users can even download episodes to listen to offline wherever you are, something I always do before I hop on a plane. And you can even easily share what you're listening to with your friends on Instagram and other social media platforms. Here's the deal. If you haven't done so already, be sure to download the Spotify app, search for Best Hour of Their Day on Spotify, or browse some other podcasts if you want. You can find them in your library tab. And also make sure to follow me so you never miss an episode of Best Hour of Their Day. Thanks again for listening to Best Hour of Their Day, and thanks again to our special guest. We appreciate all you guys do for us with Best Hour of Their Day when it comes to sharing our posts on Instagram, when it comes to subscribing to us on YouTube, when it comes to the constant feedback. We are grateful and we appreciate it. We are trying to build a community based on coaching development and becoming the best version of yourself. And it goes without saying that we couldn't do without all of you. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Season 1 of Dropping In is out. We are getting tremendous feedback and we'd love for you to check it out. Leave us a comment on there. Head over to our Instagram. Give us a follow. Like our pictures. Feel free to share anything that resonates with you. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or feedback for us, please don't hesitate. Email us, besthouroftheirday@gmail.com. Thanks again. Until the next episode, we hope you've had the best hour of your day.